Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell y'all something. Frank Martin is in a difficult fight. Looks like Frank Martin and Edwin de los Santos are going to be fighting on the Errol Spence, Sebastian Fundora undercard. Let me be crystal clear here, right? I think Frank Martin is an outstanding fighter. But I got to be honest with you. Damn ear itching. Although Edwin de los Santos hasn't fought since November 16, 2023, where he and Shakur Stevenson was in that disaster of a fight. Let me point something out. Edwin de los Santos can scrap, but this is why I think Frank Martin is going to lose to Edwin de los Santos. Because the way he got knocked out by Gervonta Davis, I think that shows us that although Gervonta Davis has freakish boxing power, it shows us if you can, De Los Santos can crack. If someone who can punch lands on Frank Martin, especially a shot he doesn't see coming, he's going out. He's going night-night. And the other thing, right, that I think is going to play a role in this fight that I just don't like for Frank Martin, he switched trainers. Now, if you follow the channel, you know I'm always talking about fighters who change trainers and then go into a big fight. It is a suicide mission. Now, just thinking that off the top of my head, Daniel Jacobs leaving Rozier. I think about Triple G. He left Abel Sanchez and how he started looking. I think about Andy Ruiz when he left the Manny Robles and decided to hook up with Eddie Reynoso, and you just see it happening. Leaving your trainer who led you to glory for whatever reason, and you hook up with someone else, and now you're in a big fight. So you're battling, right? Because I don't think a training camp is enough time to unlearn your old trainer's ways, because they've instilled certain things in you. Their training methods and their philosophies have created muscle memory inside you. I don't think a training camp's enough time to unlearn those things and to totally, accept and to adopt everything the new trainer's sharing with you so you can carry that into the ring. I think when a fighter gets in the ring like that, they're conflicted. Their decision making is off, and I think they end up being vulnerable just for that split second to where they're trying to process and again the decision making to where they get clipped. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think Edwin de los Santos is going to violently knock out Frank Martin. Now, if Frank Martin was still with Derrick James, I wouldn't think that at all. I'm going to be honest with you. I would say it's a very close fight, 50-50. I don't know who to pick. I'd be looking at De Los Santos coming off of inactivity and saying, shit, I don't know why he would go fight a beast like Frank Martin coming off of that inactivity. But because of Frank Martin's decision to leave Derrick James, I think Edwin de los Santos is in a very good space. Because De Los Santos ain't going to sit there and just necessarily trying to box and move around. He's going to fight. And Frank Martin is a slick southpaw, and he's got some pop. But again, when you're looking at Edwin de los Santos, Edwin de los Santos is a monster. The only thing that worries me about him is he's the inactivity. 16 wins, 14 of them by KO. He had 2 losses by decision. 5'8", 70-inch reach. He and Frank Martin pretty close in height and reach and everything else. But that power is real, man. For Frank Martin, I'm just trying to understand. Let me see something here. Why in the world they put him in there with De Los Santos? I just don't understand. But I understand it's a PBC thing, so it is what it is. But anyway, let's sit back and see what's really going on here. But I'm just telling you, I have a feeling that Frank Martin, maybe he's trying to build up to a Shakur Stevenson fight. It's like, all right, I fought Harringtonian. Shakur Stevenson fought Harringtonian. Frank Martin fought Gervonta Davis, but Shakur didn't fight Gervonta Davis. But Shakur did fight De Los Santos, and he ran for the most part the whole fight. And De Los Santos didn't do himself any favors either. But now he's going to come. Maybe he feels if he comes and clips De Los Santos, that's going to help position him to get an opportunity to fight Shakur Stevenson. But I just think De Los Santos is a problem for anybody. And any fighter thinking that they're going to just get in there and clip De Los Santos, they got another thing coming, because De Los Santos can scrap. He can brawl. He can box and punch. He can box. He can free swing. He can do everything. And when I look at this, okay, where is he? All right, let me show this to you. When we look at this, let's start with the WBO. This bullshit here. Edwin De Los Santos is not ranked in the WBO. He is not ranked in the IBF. For the WBC, he is ranked. He's not ranked in the WB. Okay, he dropped out. Okay, so he was ranked in the WBC, but because of his inactivity, they dropped his ass out of there. And he's ranked number 3 by the WBA. So very, very interesting to see Frank Martin, who I thought was going to 140, to see him still messing around at 135. Frank Martin's ranked number 9 by the WBA. So him, bubbling up and fighting De Los Santos, who is ranked above him by the WBA, which I think is crazy, but it is what it is. So I don't know. Interesting enough. I'm just trying to understand the science behind this shit. If I know Errol Spence wants Frank Martin to fight on his undercard, and he's taking care of him because he's his promoter, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't understand the science behind this one, because to me, Frank Martin looked like a ghoul when he got in the ring with what's his name, Gervonta Davis, and I just don't think it's healthy to do another weight cut to 135 to get in the ring with a no-kidding puncher. Anyway, just my 2 cents. I think De Los Santos knocks him out cold. I think they're not looking out for Frank Martin's best health. I don't think they're looking out for his best interests. And I think Frank Martin is going to get the bing bings put on him. The Dominican Santo Domingo bing bings. I think he's going to get knocked out cold. I get this shit 3 rounds. And Frank Martin will be out cold. And I like Frank Martin. I'm not trying to diss Frank Martin. He can fight. I always said he could fight. I just don't like the way he got knocked out by Gervonta. I don't like how he lost his confidence against Gervonta, how he lost his focus against Gervonta. Now going up against Edwin De Los Santos, he doesn't have the guy who knew him the best, Derek James. He's at a new trainer. And I don't trust none of these new trainers. I don't trust none of them guys, man. It's like they say, good things no cheap, cheap things no good. You know what I'm saying? So what they say out there in China. So you come out here now, Frank Martin, and you're giving up a good thing in Derek James for whatever reason to go out there to something that I don't think is as good. And again, like the Chinaman says in Trinidad, right? When they out there selling their little shit, good things no cheap, cheap things no good. And I think Frank Martin gonna learn that the hard way. But I don't know why they're leaving Derrick James, but I could kind of think it has something to do with Ryan Garcia, but I don't know. But I can understand cats not wanting to be nowhere near that shit because Ryan Garcia is just a disruption. But that being said, I got the Dominican winning this by knockout. But we won't know until they get in the ring. It's too much going on with Frank Martin for me to sit here and think he's going to beat De Los Santos. Just my opinion. Anyway, I'm about to get something to eat and go lay down. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.